Here's part 1 of your story in about 800 words, using simple English and Korean names as requested. What happens when humans decide to play by their own rules? The galaxy finds out the massive hull of the Galactic Concordat sparkled with technology, far beyond human understanding. Captain Hana Kim stood straight, her dark blue uniform crisp despite the long journey from Earth. This was humanity's first official appearance before the full Concordat Council, and she felt the weight of her entire species on her shoulders. The 7 major races of the galaxy looked down from their raised platforms. They had ruled space for thousands of years through strict rules and clear hierarchy. Humans were the newest members and therefore at the bottom. Species 4172, designation human, we welcome you to protected status under the patronage of the Daehan Empire, announced the tall, silver-skinned counselor Dasom. Her voice was beautiful but cold like a winter sunrise. Hana bowed slightly. We are grateful for the opportunity to join galactic society. You will find the rules of the Concordat fair, but firm, said Dasom. As a level 1 species, you will have limited travel rights, restricted technology access, and trade only through your patrons. These protections ensure galactic stability. Protections. Hana kept her face neutral, but inside she seethed. These weren't protections. They were chains. After barely surviving first contact, Earth had no choice but to accept these terms. 6 months later, aboard the diplomatic vessel Defiance, Hana reviewed the latest rejection notice. Her request to expand human colony rights had been denied again. Captain, said her first officer Minho, we've received an emergency signal from New Hope Colony. Hana felt her stomach drop. New Hope was Earth's 3rd and newest colony, with over 5,000 settlers. Put it through. The holographic display flickered to life, showing Governor June, his face streaked with dust. Captain Kim, we need immediate evacuation. Our scientists detected massive seismic instability. The planet's core is destabilizing. We have less than 3 weeks before catastrophic failure. Stay calm, Hana replied. I'll request emergency assistance from the Concordat immediately. 2 days later, she stood before the Emergency Response Committee, her request formally submitted. Denied, said Coordinator Dasom without looking up from her console. There are 5,000 humans on New Hope, Hana said, struggling to keep her voice level. The entire planet will be destroyed. The Concordat cannot intervene in natural, planetary processes, Dasom replied. Directive 4.72.8 is quite clear. New species must adapt to natural challenges or fail. This is how strong civilizations emerge. This isn't a challenge, it's extinction. Hana took a step forward. The guards tensed. Your application for colony establishment clearly acknowledged planetary risks, Dasom continued. The Concordat notes your situation but will not intervene. This meeting is concluded. Back on the Defiance, Hana paced her quarters. The Concordat had hundreds of ships that could evacuate New Hope in days. Their technology could even stabilize the planet's core, but their rules, their precious rules, meant human lives were worth less than maintaining their system. A soft chime announced Minho's arrival. Captain, what are our orders? Hana stopped pacing. The Concordat won't help. We have 1 colony, ship that could take maybe 600 people, so we save who we can, Minho said quietly. No, Hana's eyes hardened. We save everyone. How? We don't have the ships or technology, but others do. Hana activated her terminal. Connect me to Chief Engineer Suho. The engineer's tired face appeared. Captain? Suho, remember that shield modification you were working on? The one the Concordat technical regulations forbid? Suho's eyes widened. The subspace manipulator? It's just theoretical. The Concordat says it's impossible. Is it impossible or just forbidden? A slow smile spread across Suho's face. Give me 3 days. Next, Hana called Security Officer Jia. I need contacts with every non-council species at the trading hub, especially those with ships. Over the next week, Hana broke 17 concordant regulations. She contacted restricted species. She bargained with unauthorized technology. She promised Earth's future assistance to anyone who would help. When the Defiance arrived at New Hope, 11 ships from 7 different species accompanied it. None were officially allowed to be there. All had reasons to dislike concordant rules. As the evacuation began, a Dehan enforcement vessel appeared in orbit. Human vessel Defiance. You are in violation of multiple concordant directives. Cease operations immediately. Hana opened the channel. We're saving our people. Join us or leave us be. This defiance will not be forgotten, the Dehan commander warned. Good, Hana replied, because from now on, humanity plays by its own rules, and the galaxy will just have to adjust. As the ships filled with colonists, Hana watched from the command deck. Something had changed today, not just for these 5,000 lives saved, but for humanity's future among the stars. The game had new players now, and they weren't following the old rulebook. Here's part 2 of your story in about 800 words using simple English and third person perspective. The Dehan patrol ships surrounded the Defiance as it returned to Earth space. Their weapons remained locked on the human vessel, a silent threat. Inside the ship, Captain Hana Kim watched the tactical display with steady eyes. They're hailing us, Captain, said Communications Officer Minho. Put them through, Hana replied. The main screen flickered to life. Commander Taiho of the Dehan fleet appeared, his metallic skin reflecting the blue lights of his command center. Captain Kim, your actions at New Hope Colony violated 17 concordant regulations. You will surrender your ship and crew for judgment. Hana smiled slightly. I'm afraid that won't be possible, Commander. We were simply saving lives, something your concordant refused to do. The rules exist for a reason, human. Without them, chaos would consume the galaxy. Taiho's voice was cold. You have 1 hour to surrender, or we will take your ship by force. The screen went dark. Around the bridge, the crew looked to Hana. They had known this moment would come, ever since they defied the Concordat. Engineer Suho, Hana called. Is our new shield ready? Suho nodded from his station. Yes, Captain. The subspace manipulator is functional, but untested in combat. Today we test it, Hana said simply. For 3 months since the New Hope evacuation, Suho and his team had worked day and night. The shield technology was based on principles the Concordat had declared impossible, manipulating subspace to redirect energy rather than simply blocking it. If it worked, it would change everything. Hana turned to her tactical officer. Jia, contact our allies. Officer Jia smiled. Already waiting, Captain. Since saving New Hope Colony, Hana had built connections with other species frustrated by Concordat. Rules. The crystalline lumen denied mining rights on their own moons. The four-armed Nari, whose medical advances were restricted because they challenged Concordat monopolies. The gentle Tori, whose faster-than-light theories were suppressed. All had been watching humans closely since their arrival. All had seen something different in these newcomers, a refusal to accept limitations. As the hour deadline approached, 6 ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the Defiance. None were warships. The Concordat forbade weapons on non-council vessels, but each carried technology that skirted the edges of what was allowed. Human vessel, Commander Taiho's voice crackled over the comm. Your time is up. These friends you've gathered cannot save you. Their presence only adds to your crimes. We're not looking for a fight, Commander, Hana replied. We seek justice. The Concordat claims to protect, but it only controls. Today we show there's another way. Taiho's laugh was sharp. With what? Outdated technology and a handful of malcontents? With this, Hana said. Suho, activate the shield. A shimmer of blue-green energy surrounded the Defiance. Not the solid bubble of standard shields, but a dancing web of light that seemed to bend space itself. The Dehan ships fired. Their energy weapons, powerful enough to crack a small moon, struck the shield and disappeared. Not blocked or absorbed, but redirected elsewhere into subspace itself. On the Dahan command ship, alarms blared. "Impossible," Taiho shouted. "Fire again." The second volley had the same result. The Defiance remained untouched. "Now," Hana said quietly, "let's show them what else we've learned." From the 6 Allied ships, small drones launched, thousands of them, each carrying a data package. They spread throughout the system, broadcasting on all frequencies. On every screen across the sector, including the Dahan ships themselves, images appeared. Secret concordant meetings where council members laughed about primitive species, records of resource theft disguised as protection taxes, evidence of technologies suppressed not because they were dangerous, but because they threatened council power. "What is this?" Taiho demanded. "The truth," Hana answered. "For 10,000 years the Concordat has ruled through secrecy and fear. That ends today." The drones continued their broadcast, jumping from system to system via hidden relays built by their allies. The message would reach every corner of Concordat space. "You've doomed yourselves," Taiho warned. "The full might of the Concordat will crush this rebellion." "Perhaps," Hana acknowledged, "but we'll no longer live as servants, and we're not alone." She gestured to the Allied ships. "These are just the beginning. Every species you've stepped on, every world you've exploited, they're watching today. And they're learning that the chains can be broken." As the Defiance and its allies slipped away into faster-than-light travel, messages flooded in from across the galaxy. Species after species, seeing the broadcast, reaching out in secret. The game had changed, the chains were breaking, and humanity was just getting started. Here's part 3 of your story in about 800 words using simple English and third-person perspective. 3 weeks after the confrontation with the Dahan ships, the Galactic Concordat issued their response. On every communication channel across human space, the message played on repeat. The species known as human has violated core principles of galactic harmony. Their rebellion threatens the peace maintained for 10,000 years. Effective immediately. All human worlds are under blockade. No trade, no travel, no communication. Submit to Concordat authority within 30 days, or face extinction. In the underground command center beneath New Seoul City, Captain Hana Kim watched the message end. Around the table sat the core of what some now called the human resistance, though Hana preferred human response. "They're serious," said security. Officer Jia, her face grim. "Concordat warships have surrounded Earth, Luna Colony, and both remaining outer settlements." "We expected this," Hana replied calmly. "Now we move to Phase 2. Engineer Suho nodded. "The shield technology has been distributed to all settlements. They can't simply bomb us from orbit anymore." "But they can starve us," pointed out Medical Officer Minji. "We depend on off-world supplies for many essentials." "Which is why we prepared," said Hana. She activated the central display showing a complex network of connections spanning nearby star systems. "While the Concordat was deciding how to punish us, we built alternatives. For months, humans had worked with their new allies to create what they called the Shadow Network, trade routes and communication channels outside Concordat control. Every species with a grievance against the Council had joined in some way. Nari food synthesizers arrived yesterday, reported Minji. They're already operating at 60% efficiency. The Lumen provided mining drones for the asteroid belt, added Suho. Raw materials are flowing to our factories. And our greatest weapon is ready, said Communications Officer Minho, with a smile. He tapped his console, bringing up a new display. The Freedom Frequency. Unlike the limited Concordat-controlled communication networks, the Freedom Frequency used principles developed by the bird-like Tori species, quantum entanglement combined with simple human radio technology. It couldn't be blocked or traced. Tonight, we broadcast to every corner of Concordat space, said Hana. Not threats, not demands, just the truth, and an invitation. That night, on tens of thousands of worlds, beings of all species received an unexpected message, not from their leaders or the Concordat, but from humans. The species they'd been told was dangerous and rebellious. "We are humanity," Hana's voice said simply. "We seek neither war nor dominance. We ask only for the freedom all beings deserve. The Concordat claims to protect, but it controls. It claims to unify, but it divides. Look around you. Are you truly free? Or are you also bound by chains you never agreed to wear?" The broadcast continued with stories, not just from humans, but from their allies. Species after species sharing, tales of Concordat oppression disguised as protection. "We offer another way," Hana concluded. "Not chaos, but true cooperation. Not rules imposed from above, but principles agreed upon by all. Join us in whatever way you can. Share information. Trade fairly. Question the rules that limit you. The Concordat is powerful, but it rules through fear and secrecy. When enough of us stand together, those weapons lose their edge." The response was immediate. On hundreds of worlds, questions arose. Protests formed. Information long suppressed began to flow freely. In the Concordat High Chamber, Councillor Dasum watched the reports with growing alarm. "How are they doing this?" she demanded. "Our blockade is perfect." Admiral Dohyun, commander of the Dihan fleet, looked uncomfortable. "The humans. They don't think like us, Counselor. When we block one path, they find 3 more we never considered. They're just primitives." Dasum slammed her fist on the console. "No," said a new voice. Elder Junho, oldest of the council members, rarely spoke at meetings. Now all eyes turned to him. "They are what we once were, before rules became chains. They remind us of forgotten strengths." "They must be crushed," insisted Dasum. "Make an example of one of their colonies." Admiral Dohyun nodded reluctantly. "The settlement on Mars is the most vulnerable. We will destroy it tomorrow." The next day, 50 Concordat warships appeared over Mars' colony, their weapons powered up, ready to reduce the settlement to ash despite its shields. But as they prepared to fire, their systems shut down one by one. Their engines died. Their communications went silent. Inside each ship, on every screen, a simple message appeared. "Did you think we wouldn't prepare? Humanity doesn't just break chains. We forge new links." The human response had only just begun. Here's part 4 of your story in about 800 words using simple English and third-person perspective. The Great Council Chamber of the Galactic Concordat had never seen such chaos. For 10,000 years, the 7 High Counselors had ruled without question. Now they shouted over each other as reports flooded in from across the galaxy. 17 more systems have cut ties with Concordat trade networks, announced an aide. The mining colonies in the Proxima sector refuse to ship resources, said another. And the Dihan fleet at Mars remains disabled, added Admiral Dohyun, his silver face drawn with worry. 3 days and our best engineers cannot restore systems. High Counselor Dasam rose from her seat. Enough. This human infection spreads too far. We must act decisively. With what ships? Asked Elder Junho quietly. With what allies? Each passing day more join the humans' coalition. Then we use the Sun Forge, Dasam declared. A hush fell over the chamber. The Sun Forge was the Concordat's ultimate weapon, a star killer that could destroy an entire system. It had been used only once in history to end the last great rebellion 5,000 years ago. The humans have only one homeworld, Dasam continued. Remove Earth and this rebellion dies. In the hidden base on Europa, Jupiter's ice moon, Hana received news of the Concordat's plan from their network of allies. The Sun Forge, whispered Suho. Even our shields can't stop that. We never planned to shield against it, Hana replied calmly. Gia, is your team ready? Security Officer Gia nodded. Operation Whisper is complete. We planted the seeds months ago when they still thought us simple primitives. While the Concordat had focused on military might, humans had quietly infiltrated the one system the Council never thought to protect, their own history. For centuries, the Concordat had erased rebellions from official records, hiding their own vulnerabilities. But humans had found the truth, buried in forgotten archives and ancient memory banks. "Send the signal," ordered Hana. Across the galaxy, on every concordate world, the truth appeared, not as propaganda, but as simple, historical fact. Records of past rebellions, evidence of council lies, proof that the Concordate had faced challenges before and nearly fallen. Most importantly, they revealed the terrible cost of the Sunforge's only use, not just the deaths of the rebels, but the slow suffering of innocent worlds poisoned by its after-effects, for generations. As the Sunforge moved into position near Earth, something unexpected happened. The escort fleet, ships from all 7 council races, broke formation. "Return to position immediately," ordered Admiral Do-hyun from the command vessel. "We cannot obey," came the reply from Captain Soman of the Daehan cruiser Daybreak. "We have sworn to protect life, not extinguish it." "This is treason," Do-hyun shouted. "No," Soman replied calmly. "This is conscience." One by one, the escort ships positioned themselves between the Sunforge and Earth. Not just a few rebels, but the majority of the fleet. On ships throughout the galaxy, similar scenes played out. Officers who had served loyally for decades now questioned orders for the first time. The freedom frequency carried their words everywhere. Not calls for rebellion, but simple questions about duty and purpose. In the council chamber, the emergency. Alarms blared. "The Sunforge is surrounded by our own ships," reported a pale-faced aide. "They refuse to move." "Destroy them all," Daesam ordered, her composure finally breaking. "No," said Elder Junho, standing slowly. "This ends now." With a gesture, he activated the chamber's communication system, broadcasting to all concordate worlds without censorship for the first time in history. "I have served the Concordate for 700 years, he began. "I have seen us drift from protectors to controllers, from guides to masters. These humans do not threaten our civilization. They mirror what it once was." From the shadows of the chamber stepped Captain Hana Kim herself, somehow having infiltrated the most secure location in the galaxy. "How did you get in here?" gasped Daesam. "We had help," Hana replied simply, gesturing to the guards who stood at attention, not against her, but for her. "From people tired of serving a lie." "What do you want?" asked Elder Junho quietly. "Not conquest," said Hana. "Not revenge. We want partnership. A new concordat where all species have voice and value, where rules serve life, not power." On screens across the galaxy, billions watched as humans and council members faced each other, not in battle, but in conversation. The moment stretched, between destruction and possibility. Slowly, Elder Junho extended his hand. After a moment's hesitation, Hana took it. "Perhaps," said the ancient counselor, "it is time we learned some new rules. Here's part 5 of your story in about 800 words using simple English and third-person perspective." 1 year after the day that humans and the Concordate Council faced each other in the Great Chamber, the galaxy had changed in ways few could have imagined. The massive meeting hall that once housed only 7 high counselors now held representatives from over 200 species. Some had been part of the Concordate for millennia, but never allowed to speak. Others were newcomers, emerging from hiding, now that the old rules were gone. In the center of it all stood Ambassador Hana Kim, no longer a captain but a builder of bridges between worlds. At her side was Elder Junho, who had surprised everyone by stepping down as counselor to help create the new system. "The final votes are in," Junho told Hana quietly. "The Constitution of the Galactic Alliance has been ratified by the required number of worlds." Hana nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. "And the principles we fought for?" "All included," Junho confirmed. "Equal representation, technology sharing, the right of all species to chart their own path." The new alliance was built on cooperation, rather than control. Where the old Concordate had ruled through restrictions, the alliance governed through consensus. No longer would primitive species be kept down. No longer would advancement be limited to maintain power. On Earth, the changes were even more dramatic. Once isolated and restricted, the planet now served as a meeting point for dozens of species. In the great harbor of New Sol, ships from across the galaxy docked daily, bringing visitors, traders, and students eager to learn the human approach to problems. Engineer Suho led the new technology exchange where humans shared their innovations and learned from others. The shield technology that had once seemed revolutionary was now just one of many breakthroughs emerging from collaborative research. The lumen crystals amplify the field by 300%, he explained to a group of mixed-species engineers. But the real breakthrough came when we combined it with Tori quantum principles. Why did no one try this before? Asked a young Dahan engineer. Because the old rules said it couldn't be done, Suho replied with a smile. Humans never got that message. The medical centers Dr. Minji worked alongside healers from 12 species. Techniques that had been kept separate by concordant restrictions now combined to cure diseases once thought untreatable. Another success, she told her team, as they saved a child from a distant world. 3 more species can now be treated for neural decay. Even the former enemies found new purpose. Many Dahan, raised to believe in their superiority, now worked as teachers and cultural ambassadors. Their rigid devotion to rules had transformed into a passion for building understanding between different ways of thinking. Not all had embraced the new order. Former High Counselor Dasom and her loyalists had retreated to distant systems, promising to restore the true concordat someday. But with each passing month, their support dwindled as the benefits of cooperation became clear. On the anniversary of the Great Change, Hana stood on a balcony overlooking the Alliance Plaza in New Sol. Below, beings from across the galaxy celebrated together, singing, trading, learning, and growing. Elder Junho joined her, moving slowly with age but eyes bright with purpose. "Did you know it would turn out this way?" he asked. Hana shook her head. "I only knew we had to try something different. The old system was killing us, not just humans, but the spirit of the galaxy itself. For 10,000 years we believed control was the only path to peace," Junho admitted. "We forgot that real harmony comes from freedom, not fear." "And you?" Hana asked. "Do you regret joining us?" Junho laughed softly. "My people lived for centuries, Ambassador Kim. I had forgotten what it was to feel truly alive until your species reminded us all." Below them, a group of children played, human, Dahan, Lumen, Nari, and others, inventing a game with rules they created together. No adults directed them, no ancient protocols guided them, yet they found a balance that worked for all. "That is why humans succeeded where others failed," Junho said, nodding toward the children. "You never stopped playing, never stopped imagining better possibilities." As night fell, ships from across the Alliance lit the sky with displays of light, each in the style of their homeworld, yet forming a unified tapestry above. "There will be challenges ahead," Hana acknowledged. "Old hatreds, new threats." "Yes," agreed Junho. "But now we face them together, with every voice heard and every strength combined." The galaxy had learned what happens when humans decide to play by their own rules. Not chaos, as the Concordat had feared, but a new kind of order, one built on freedom, cooperation, and the simple human belief that tomorrow can always be better than today.